everyone. Today we will be making some car magnets. This is a set of two, and they are the rounded magnets. And the size we're using are the regular size, which is a 12 by 18. I did design this image in Canva, and then I imported it or saved it and uploaded it into Design Space. So this is going to be a cut file. At first, I was going to print it with the eco solvent, and then I was just like, with it being outside and getting rained on and all of that stuff, permanent vinyl has a better durability than those, some of the printed stickers. So, with that being said, I sized the image how I needed it to fit onto the 12 by 18 magnet. And then in Design Space, once you have uploaded and sized your image or your design, you hit the make button. I always like to separate mine if it's two different colors being cut out. So that way you can maximize, your vinyl, and you can put it all onto one page, or make sure you just have less waste as possible. So right now what you see me doing is changing the mat size because it automatically put the mat size as a 12 by 24, and I'm only going to be using a 12 by 12 mat. So I changed the mat size and I made sure that everything was on this one mat and that it was not overlapping or touching, because of course if it is on this screen, if it's touching or overlapping, that is exactly how it is going to cut out. And as you can see, I have two different color mats because I'm going to be using two different kind of permanent vinyl. So since it's going outside and it needs to stay on the magnet, I'm going to be using permanent vinyl. I love Oracle vinyl, permanent and removable. It's just easy to work with. I've tried a lot of different brands, but Oracle is going to always be my favorite or my go-to. But depending on what's in my craft space is what I'm going to grab if it's close by. So now that I have the image lined up on the mat how I want it, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that my Cricut maker is connected, because I did take it to class with me. So it was still in my travel bag, but it is ready to go. And we are just going to pick premium vinyl. When you're using permanent or removable vinyl, you're always going to place the vinyl onto the mat with the grid side down. So I always tell people it's grid to grid when you're using permanent or removable vinyl. The only time you're going to flip that vinyl over is if it is HTV vinyl. All right, so once your image comes off, be careful when you're weeding it, especially if you have small font or small little pieces to come up, because who can tell me what is missing off of here that came up with the vinyl? Drop a comment below and let me know what pieces are missing. But take your time when you're weeding. Of course, this process is sped up for the video purpose. And right now you just see me applying the transfer tape to the different sections that I want to place onto the magnet. And like I said, this is permanent vinyl. This particular vinyl is by Kassa. I didn't have two of the Oracle colors that I needed, so this is Kassa brand permanent vinyl. Now with the larger pieces, I don't use transfer tape if it's just one large piece, because as you can see, you literally can just lift it. And I was just doing a quick measurement because of course I'm eyeballing it, but I do want to make sure that it is centered. So with that being said, you don't have to have a piece of transfer tape if it is, large. Also, make sure that you're using your scraper, making sure you don't have any large bubbles. I pulled the transfer tape off really quick, and as you can see, the numbers came up, but you can always just flip it back down. Use your nail or your weeding tool to push it back onto the transfer tape. I am going to be layering this this piece and the words. So just making sure that I have them lined up and that it is even on the magnet. And there is my handy dandy scraper. I need to clean my desk off. It has been very hectic and there's a lot going on. So it is starting to get a little crowded. I will probably spend some time this weekend getting everything reorganized. There is something missing that when I weeded the black piece, if you can tell me, just drop down in the comments below and tell me what piece is missing. I also didn't use a piece of transfer tape for this piece because it's shaped odd and I just didn't want to waste a piece of transfer tape. So we are going to eyeball it. And it was up too high. So we are just going to reposition this particular piece. I always tell people when you're working with vinyl, don't try to take it all off of the transfer tape at one time, especially if you're moving real fast, because once it's down, it's typically down. Unless you use like the little water methods and all of that stuff, which I don't do. Now with this one, I'm looking for my weeding tool because there are two tiny little pieces that if you see right now, there are two tiny little pieces that didn't get weeded out when I pulled them off the first time. And I almost missed it. I actually looked over the camera while I was weeding and I saw that those two pieces were sticking in there. So we weeded those out. And like I said, since this is large and it's a straight piece, I'm not going to use a piece of transfer tape to transfer that. Just going to lift one edge up and place it down. And then our words are going to go on to the yellow piece. If you guys are in the Georgia or Atlanta area and you need tow services, y'all call Ralph. Ralph will get it towing. I know a couple people that own towing services and hauling businesses in the Atlanta or Middle Georgia area. So if y'all are ever in a pinch, ladies, I know some dependable men that can get you back on the road and get you going. Because we all know how that goes sometimes. But yes, we're moving. And I'm placing the paper back on the transfer tape because I'm going to reuse it for the second magnet. And it's going to be the same process because it's the exact same. So they're going to be identical magnets for each side of the vehicle. And if you have a small business or any business and you want to be able to brand your business, permanent vinyl, permanent water resistant stickers are a great way to go. I'll probably post a video of us making some yard signs. Those are pretty cool too. But this is the finished product. Right now, I'm just popping some of the air bubbles that I saw in the design out, just to release the air that's up under it. And I did stick it on the mini fridge in my she shed just to make sure that it did stick. So I just need to release some of the air bubbles and it's done.